Well, it's about 8:45, and it's time to talk about no nuts. Rich Bonaducci here. I want to talk about something that I think will change the way you do stuff when you set up symbols, because this is really old. Now, before we start, this is the no nut system. And I know what you're thinking, because I thought it too. You're thinking, that looks stupid and it'll never work. I have never been more happy to be wrong in my life, because as far as how it looks, I've gotten used to it. But does it really look all that different from? Is it all something weird like that, or something like this from Gibraltar? I got over that pretty quickly when I found out how great these things are, and I put them through the paces before I decided to talk to you. Now, first of all, you probably have something like this where you got to turn the knob, and then this, and you got this thing, and it's black, and then and there's the felt, and this comes off in your hardware bag. You don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And sometimes this happens to you, even if you have done as I suggested before, and actually um, glue your felt down like that so it doesn't fall off in a bag, and glue the felts to your actual nut like that so you won't lose that either. But this is still something that you got to do, and depending on how many symbols you have, this is a pain. It'll even happen if you have one of these quick release ones, right? I mean, these are great, but you still got to do this and replace it and hope it's still there in your bag when you get back. No, you don't. Just use these. Now, what this thing is it's essentially a cone, a kind of rubberized plasticky cone that fits on 6 and 8 millimeter threads, which are these right here. This is a Tama thread, as you can see. And what you do is you just put it on, and you can push it on to a certain extent, but then I twist it. And I twist it all the way down as far as it can go so that the post, the actual metal post, is as far up in here as I can get it. Why do I do that? Because I don't want this thing bending too much. You can see this bends a little bit, but the post is probably right there. What I do is I leave these things on my stands and throw them in a hardware bag. That's it. And sometimes, if it's cold or if they're pressed against something, you'll come out and they're a little bit bent. They're a little bit like this. And then by the time you put your symbols on them, they've come back to shape. And you can put foam on them. I've done these you've probably seen these SimPads Chromatics, and I put them on there too. Now I have also, because I just wanted to show you, I have also put a little bit of glue on there, put that down, and that's it. These things don't go anywhere. And it makes it so crazy easy to set up your symbols. Did you see that? Did you see how quickly I put that symbol on there? How about that? How easy would that be? Here's what I do at the end of the night, and I'm not kidding. I got my symbol bag back here against the wall, and when we're done, I got all these symbols, right? And all these things around. Basically, by the way, what I normally have is something like a crash here, a splash here, another crash there, a ride here, a China boy there, and another crash over here. That's a lot of symbols. I mean, I think it is. So what I do is I go, oh, let's see. And I take the biggest one, which is usually the ride. See how I just picked that right off there? I just put it in my bag. I take the next biggest one. I put it in my bag. I take the next biggest one. I put it in my bag. I put it in my bag. I'm done. Like, it's that quick. And when you want to put it all back, it's this easy. Bam. Now, the ease of this stuff, really, it's worth any problem you might have with this. But you might be thinking, my symbol's going to fly off. Well, I took a stick off camera. I thought I'll test this first. When I first got these, which was over a year ago. And I'm bashing down and I'm hitting it on this. Now, I rarely play up. I rarely do that. It is possible, I think, you might be able to flick a smaller cymbal off, like an 8 or 10-inch splash. That's so light, you might be able to flick that thing off there if you're doing upswings, right? But I bashed the heck out of this cymbal, and I could not get this thing to fall off. In fact, I did it so much, I broke this cymbal. I cracked it. It's cracking along the cup. I'm really bummed because this is one of my favorite cymbals, and I ruined it testing you! Nuts. No nuts, you owe me a medium thin, 18-inch medium thin Zildjian crash. Anyway, they did not fall off. Now, I have been using these again for a year, and I gig 2 or 3 times a week. Seriously. They've never fallen off. And I get to bashing sometimes. It has made my setup so much quicker. I can't even begin to tell you. Yes, I can. Hey, look at that. Now, they do have some other products available if you're interested in doing something like this. Now, when you have a crash cymbal, let me take my busted crash and put it up here again. I don't really need to lock that down. But a China boy, a lot of times, especially when it's made with that cup on the bottom, they'll flick around too much. I don't know, and sometimes you want that to calm down a little bit. Well, No Nuts also sells these little rubberized rings that come in different colors, and they look like cymbal felts for a hi-hat, but it's actually made of rubber. And it will go right over the top of that, if you can see that, and you just press it down, and now that thing is, relatively in position. Now, the thing that this does, it doesn't make it as quickly as removable as it used to be, because you have that on there. That's true, but I only have one of these on my China, and that's it. All the other ones are just free floating as that. And it's actually not that hard to take off. There it is. And then I do that, and it's still on there in my hardware bag, a week later. By the way, they come in different colors. This is blue, black, I think silver, I know green, yellow, white. They're different colors. But there's only, and this is the only downside that I can really see, there's only one size. Now, the size will fit a 6 to 8 millimeter. But if you use something smaller, I guess it might be 2 to 4. I can't tell. But it's that right there, the thinner ones. Here, let's see if I can show you by comparison. Right? How much thinner that is? They will not work on these. They can't grip. They can't get a hold. Now, these are the ones that that Roland uses a lot, but also other smaller companies, other companies use these too. They're like the old school nylon filled, glass filled nylon. What do you call these? I don't know what Tama made, but a lot of people still use these like that. See, and these thinner ones, they will not work on them. And I've got a couple of hardware stands that I can't use these on. So No Nuts, I would suggest if you can make this one that is 6 to 8, maybe make another one that's 2 to 4, 4 to 6. I'm not really sure what this thread count is, but I would be using a whole lot more of these if they would fit on more than just one kind of stand. They also have a couple of products that they made that fit onto there that can be like rivets. I believe it's a little holder like that, and it's a little strand of rivets like a chain that you can put onto your ride cymbal, and it'll drape there and give you the rivet sound with actually drilling holes. They also have what essentially looks like a bandana that has something like that fit into it as well, which goes like that, and it drapes right onto your cymbal the way you think it would, and it just muffles it a little bit. They have a couple of different products, but obviously they all sort of interact with this No Nuts thing, And I wholeheartedly suggest you try a pack. Pack of 3, I think for about 20 bucks, which is probably a little bit too much. I think 15 would be reasonable. And they still get a profit. 5 bucks for that, and might even be a little extreme. If you can find them anywhere for less or for around $15, check them out. Try them out. I think you will never go back. I am actually slowly converting my stands over to the larger threads just so I can use these on everything, which is kind of a shame because I have some nice stands that just have that thinner thread that I would like to use. But for the stands that I'm using for my different kits and stuff, that is it. Check them out. They are really cool. And again, if you're worried that they aren't going to work, that Sybil's going to fly off there, you're a much heavier hitter than I am. All right. Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. That was pretty short.